Number 31, Allie Tinnitus from Macungie, Pennsylvania.
Number 10, Jen Shuley from Palmyra, Pennsylvania.
Number 11, Natalia Simonello from New Albany, Ohio.
Number 15, Rachel Hunter from Ocean City, New Jersey.
Number 3, I'm Bree Doken. I'm from Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania.
I'm number 6, Ashlyn Coyle from Galway, Ireland.
Number 7, Melissa Palm from Vancouver, BC.
Number 8, Ashlyn Coyle from Glasgow, Scotland.
Number 18, Linda Hassner from Baden, Switzerland.
Number 9, Jenna Cacciatore from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Number 16, Emily McCack from Upper Arlington, Ohio.
And now the starting lineup for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Their coach, Tracy Grisbaum, there, and not too many changes within their starting lineup today, and no surprise.
Absolutely. And one of the players you got to look at today is number 2, Roz Ellis. She has been such a steady player in the back there, really solid defender, picks up the toughest marking assignments.
And also, I think you have to recognize Katie Naughton, who's really been turning it on this tournament and postseason play. Last 2 games of the season, this player can really go to the net, has a nose for the goal, and she's been performing out of her mind.
Their back so important. Meg Beamstiffer recognized earlier in the week with her play in the victory, the final game against Michigan to wrap up the season, is well recognized for Player of the Week honors. The weather, you see it right there, 38 degrees. It's not so bad that it's 38 degrees, folks. It's the wind gusts that we've been having out of the west that are coming across this field from west to east, really causing some really chilly factors on the field today. For the players, it's not too bad. They're going to be running around, and I think as you will agree that the first few minutes for both teams just kind of getting the cobwebs out. A couple of people, or 3 people, that don't have to get the cobwebs out. They've been recognized for their umpiring throughout the season and are umpiring this championship game today. You see them right there. Jade Carvalho, Winheim Menered, and of course Mary Brainerd at the table as will oversee the 3 of them as they get out onto the field as well. 35 minutes in the first half, 70 minutes total when we will have a 2008 Big Ten champion. You see the tournament history. Iowa leads the all-time series 20-10. Ohio State has won 8 of the last 11, though, since 2001, and that 2001 one was a big one.
Absolutely. They met in the 2001 finals and had a chance to Iowa won that game, but in this situation today, all bets are off, all seeding is off. Each one of these teams feels equally ready to win this game.
Well, I think also it's a must-win for Ohio State in order to get into the NCAA tournament. They were out of the top 20 for a while throughout the season, got back in the lower ranks, and this is a must-win in order for their season to go on. Iowa's in. Iowa's going to get into the NCAA tournament, no question. There's some other teams in the Big Ten that are on the bubble, but Ohio State knows what's at stake.
They wreaked some havoc, actually, by doing that.
Absolutely.
Some keys to the game. We had an opportunity to speak to both coaches at length yesterday. Tracy Grisbaum's key to the game for her team as they get ready and are set to go out in the field, meeting in their huddle right now. Their fans are there, of course. We cannot play too fast, and I think we did that a little against Michigan State. We've got to slow it down. You lose your effectiveness when you're going ahead of yourself.
And I think when I've seen Iowa play earlier this year, they were very effective when that happened, and I would support that. But Michigan State does that to you. They have such explosive players offensively that it's easy to get caught up in their rush play.
Ohio State in their road red. They are the 5 seed. Linda Hausner will take the pass back to get it going here for the 2008 Big Ten championship game.
Also having to do with pace, about what Tracy said, is that Iowa is in incredible shape. They've always been a team that's been known for their endurance and known that they can last through 70 minutes and plus, as we've seen in their overtime victories throughout the season. So they can play fast. It's just the tempo within the game and recognizing your momentum and recognizing when you have to settle it down, get a breath. But that statement can take a little out of skew, but this is a team that is very well conditioned.
A little bit of a chess match here early on as these two teams just kind of take that big breath coming out to the field as we get going.
Well, both teams are come onto this field today knowing what's at stake, as Kara mentioned earlier, but I also think they're going to rely on their senior leadership. Of course, we've talked all week about Iowa's seniors and how heavily senior-laden they are. On the opposite side, Ohio State has something to play for, but these seniors have something to play for too, and they don't want to go into the NCAA tournament having lost a game.
Lauren Pfeiffer with a nice flick up off of that free hit as we go back and forth here, and the ball will go over the end line.
One of the key players, of course, for Iowa is Caroline Blum, and she says we are not at our fastest using our speed. We have to communicate and engage. That will help us stretch the field, and that's so important. And Caroline Blum, of course, what can you say about her? She was all over the field against Michigan State on Friday. A really, really good player.
Side in, just inside the Ohio State 25. And I pressure him immediately, and this will keep the side in.
This is a really key matchup right here. You see number 8, Ashlyn Coyle. She's a redshirt freshman. She has excellent stick skill and really good composure over it, but she's really easy to penetrate behind, get behind the defenders and into the 25. So Iowa, I know, is looking to really attack on the right side against Coyle at that left mid position. So look for her to get a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. And quickly, Ohio State moving it across, as you mentioned. They've got Hausner on the far post, but cannot get it across to her. The flick above, and it is called the corner, the first corner of the day.
Dangerous play here, bringing the ball inside the circle, catching Iowa a little bit off guard, and then the goalkeeper's not able to clear it outside the circle, so you have a penalty corner situation.
And plenty of Iowa defenders right there in the circle. It's really important that you do not leave these Buckeyes unalone in the circle because they are very scrappy, as we saw in their overtime goal off the corner from Mcewen.
Absolutely, opportunistic, I would say.
Mcewen up, and it is not handled by Simonello. They'll have to bring it back in. Hausner playing with it outside the circle. And it'll be a long hit. Roz Ellis not able to control, unintentional over the goal line or the end line, and it'll be a long hit. Good ball and a reverse chip.
Beautiful save by Lisa
with the clear.
Coyle just did an absolute tremendous job with getting that shot off so quickly at the top of the circle. We've seen a lot of these reverse chips in the conference this year. Look at that. 2-touch, gets it off her right foot, gets the bat speed, so to speak, coming off that stick, and really great placement by her.
The ball advanced off of a kick, so it'll come up to Ohio State for the hit. Jenna Cacciatore will take the hit.
And this is not an uncommon thing to see two players start the ball off on a free hit situation, so that it gives the second hitter the opportunity to lift the ball a little bit if they need to, because that's one of the rules in field hockey. You must keep the ball on the ground on the initial hit in free hits.
It's also creating numbers up, getting the 2v1s, beating that defender, and you can even take it to the little passes. Hopefully other things will move along, lines will open up, but it's really getting that numbers around the ball. And also you see here number 15, Megan Mcewen, setting up off the right side for this free hit. Iowa is really great at the defensive transfers. They're going to use it today, but see how they're on the right side and penetrating up that right sideline.
Beansdorfer with a ball up and out.
Again, we talked about attacking at Ohio State's left back up Iowa's right side, and this is exactly where Iowa wants to be. Look for them to push numbers up to try to keep the ball in this section of the field.
Really nice job pinching that ball deep, and a good job in almost stealing that one away. It's tucked into the corner. Ohio State wearing their road red. They are the 5 seed. The top seed, or the top seed left, the number 2 seed in Iowa. They are wearing the home jersey today, which is their light jersey whites.
You gotta like Ashley Mcewen on Ohio State. She's out there with no sleeves, no leggings. She's just out there playing.
Beams differ to Pfeiffer. They're trying to do a little give and go, but who's there but Linda Hausner? And a nice recovery job by the Hawkeyes, and it's all clogged up. It should be Hawkeye ball.
And this is a great matchup between Pfeiffer and Hausner, as you see right there. This will be a key matchup throughout the whole game. Hausner has excellent stick skills, but Lauren Pfeiffer is a very aggressive player. And from playing against international players, they have such great skill over the ball. It's really important that you body up on them, disrupt their path a little bit, and that's going to be key for Iowa's defense.
Big Ten Tonight is your ultimate source for all things Big Ten. It's the nightly show for highlights, analysis, and all of the Big Ten action, interviews, and so much more. Big Ten Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, only on the Big Ten Network.
There's the defensive transfer that we've talked so much about, just the opportunity to move the ball from one side of the field to the other. Unfortunately, mishit by Lauren Pfeiffer, so Ohio State picks up the ball.
Missy Palm controlled it to Hausner as they try to work it back to the outside, but a nice job once again by Leslie Pyle. She is there recovering nicely, but good job defensively by both teams as they are just hustling back and forth for control.
If you notice here, Trisha Jean opens up. She sees the field so nicely. And if we pause it right here, Pfeiffer has the ball off her right foot, able to have her vision up and see the field.
Linda Hausner taking the hit just outside the circle. Everyone must be 5 yards away. Nice low shot, but who is there but Lauren Pfeiffer. Good job up to Naughton. And recovering nicely are the Hawkeyes, or the Buckeyes. And here come the Hawkeyes, though, because we are going back and forth. Caitlin McCurdy trying to get it to the outside. Caroline Blum can't get to her.
McCurdy and Naughton, you're going to hear a lot about them today. They work so well together on and off the ball. They're really the two players who play up in Iowa's system.
Ashlyn Coyle will bring it in off the side in, and a ball up and in. And off of a defensive stick, so will remain with the Buckeyes.
One of the things I saw Ohio State do very well in the quarterfinal match against Michigan, here's a defensive transfer that we see again right now, but is their speed that take the free hits, setting it up quickly, very quick decision making, seeing the field and being able to make a quick decision and give a free hit quickly.
Of course, Leslie Pyle doing a great job right there, just breaking up. She's one of the unsung heroes in the Iowa lineup.
And the Buckeyes love to be playing on neutral sites where they are undefeated this year. Just setting the table up even more. The hard work, as Kara had mentioned in our open, a team that had started off 0-3 in conference play, and what a difference they have made since that turnabout.
Quick transition. Iowa trying to get the numbers up the field.
McCurdy on the outside, and she will run out of real estate, but nice held whistle, and it will stay and remain.
Natalie Simonello for Ohio State doing the right thing there, just slowing the play down, allowing her teammates to recover.
Well, a little bit too far. Earlier in the week, folks, as we started this tournament, we actually had rain in the evening of the first day, and it really did slow down the field. And one thing the coaches made sure they told the players, run down all those balls because you have a shot at running those balls down.
Well, since I've been in Bloomington, I feel like I've been through 4 seasons so far. It was spring and summer weather on the first day, and I think it's a little bit of January weather today.
I think so.
Trisha Dean with the shot in. And a nice job up. And both teams practiced a lot of one-touch passes yesterday, really moving the ball quickly. A lot of drills at this point. They're trying to, mix things up a little bit in practice and keep the practices going. And I thought both sides did it nicely yesterday as they had their time on the field of practice.
I was very impressed with Ohio State's defensive transfer. They have excellent ball speed, and they have outside Natalie on the right side, the Ohio State defender, and Jen Shuley, the freshman in the backfield. They move it so well.
And of course, Iowa's keys to the game inside the 25. Look for your options. Make sure you're not always going in one direction. And that speaks to the balance that Iowa tries to create in its entire squad.
And both of these teams have been inside pretty balanced right now. Ohio State has been inside the 25 4 times thus far in this game, and Iowa as well, 4 times early on in this contest.
Well, Lauren Pfeiffer was right there in the center of the midfield. There was no time that Ashlyn Mcewen had to receive the ball and have forward space, which is a really dangerous threat to the Hawkeye defense, but she had excellent pressure putting on.
Yeah, that's a nice ball up to Missy Pong, as she does a fantastic job working around the defense. Fighting with Beamstaffer to obtain the ball and get it into the middle of the field. And the transition once again. Up to Duffy, to Katie Naughton.
Again, the quick hit, get the ball back into play, get it up ahead, try to create some numbers. Nice play by Leslie Pyle. She's had 3 of those already today.
And I think Ohio State's doing a really nice job, Karen, so far with setting that pace and setting that tempo. We saw them come out a little flat against Penn State, probably due in large part to the game previous day to Michigan. But today, they look a lot more assertive right off of the bat.
Well, you made a great point this morning. We were talking just real brief around the table and about the fact that the day off couldn't come at a better time for Ohio State. You thought that they had lost a lot of their legs late in the game against Michigan State.
Yep, absolutely. And the fact that they're able to recover in the span of less than 48 hours, probably closer to maybe 36 or somewhere around there. But if you're talking about NCAA play, this is exactly all by design. As the coaches like to say, it's all by design.
Well, nice triangle effort there by the Buckeyes. Unfortunately, they could not convert and get it into the circle, but they're tenacious and staying with it. Lauren Pfeiffer is there to knock it back out as she patiently looks to get it up to her forward line.
one of the things we talked about earlier with Coach Griesbaum was how proud she was of her back line. She just really felt that Beamsdorfer and Pfeiffer and Leslie Pyle really do a nice job of working together and covering each other against some of the best forwards in the country.
They called that ball immediately, feeling as though it was into a crowd and too high. Sometimes the officials will let it go if it's into an open space and not affecting everyone, but you saw it called immediately. So the Buckeyes with a chance here to get it into the circle. And a corner is called. Second corner of the opportunity. Both of those corners this afternoon have been for Ohio State.
Doing a really nice job of finding the opportunities when they can inside the circle. And believe me, Iowa's defense is really tough-nosed. And for them to give up 2 corners so quickly in the game goes to show Buckeyes their assertiveness so far.
Look for Beamsdorfer to put some good pressure on the stopper here.
Nice stop. The shot is up. Missy Pond tried to control it back down, have a stick hack called.
I'm not sure I completely agree with that call by Jade, the umpire, but Megan Buser looked to have a really clean touch on the ball right there with her stick. I think she just had great stature and poise as a defensive stance.
I would agree. I think in that situation, Megan did everything she could.
Ashley Mcewen sets it in, and the tap over. And quickly, Missy Palm's shot is just slightly off. It's hovering on the goal line, and a corner is called once again. Micak was there, Emily Micak was there, tried to knock it home.
In this situation, how Lauren Pfeiffer keeps the ball away is just remarkable. On the weak side, you'll see she makes the save there.
Oh my goodness.
Never crosses the goal line. Great call by Jade Cavallo.
And Ohio State is looking for those tippers off the right and left post. We noticed that yesterday in their practices.
Tipped in once again. Cacciatore with a shot.
Alyssa Munley took it off the face mask, I think, on that.
Way to use your head, right?
A rifle of a shot by Jenna Cacciatore.
Beautiful play. Iowa's got to get this pressure off. They've got to move the ball up the field.
Dean gets the ball, though, and quickly we're moving the other way. The Buckeyes have been there. They are trying to help each other out as Shuley gets caught up in a stick with Katie Naughton.
We've seen a little bit of that. I mean, these teams know what they're playing for, and they will not give an inch if they don't have to.
Shots on goal, you see Ohio State with large numbers right now, 5-0 with the shots on net, just peppering Alyssa Munley.
And again, both teams just looking for that opportunity, but the styles are similar right now, and Ohio State's been more effective at generating shots, but Iowa's had a substantial amount of time inside their 25.
Nice flick up.
Now, they may have had a lot of time inside their 25, Karen, but I also think that they haven't really been able to get into the circle. I mean, they did a great job with executing through the right side and up the right sideline, but they have to keep it there.
Absolutely. Sustain the attack. Absolutely. No question.
Hauser trying to hit it in, and she is met by Roz Ellis, the tough defender for the Hawkeyes. Ellis was looking for the quick call, didn't get it. That's where you have to stay with it. Worley is there. And Buckeye ball.
Beamsdorfer on the weak side, just outside the penalty stroke mark, keeping a real close eye on Emily Micak. Very aware of Emily's ability to score goals off free hits coming in.
A reverse chip and a held whistle and another corner.
Well, Mcewen is a player that's playing out of her league and out of her mind right now. And Friday, the game-winning goal off the overtime corner. Just gets a little touch on it. Finds that corner, finds the back of the boards. But this is a player that will go very, very far in the program. She got limited playing time last year, and she came in, took that year during the offseason to really improve her play, and look at the impact she's making so far.
And Mcewen, the inserter on the play. Little trouble at the top of the circle. Yeah. Missy Palm trying to keep it in, and it is not. Caroline Blum with the ball. She looks upfield, trying to get it to Naughton, but she is met by a defender. A good job by Janchula.
Again, building it up. Trisha Dean giving an opportunity to get it outside. Jess Worley.
Nice effort as Katie Naughton looks and hesitates on the reverse chip. We are going to have a stroke. And at the same time, down in the far end,
Natalia Simonello is down still.
Well, this is one of the reasons why Iowa is so effective, but their transition between their back line and their forward line. Look at this two-touch. Nice little lift by Caitlin McCurdy over the defender stick, but Iowa has been so effective with that. I've seen from last year's play to this year's play, and that's really hard to build up as a team. But I think that has to do with the fact they've been playing together at such a tight-knit group for such a long time compared to some other Big Ten schools.
Well, we'll hopefully show a replay again after the stroke of how that play developed, because they played together. That's how they developed that play. Goalkeeper was penalized in this situation for doing a stick tackle. Pretty tough call.
And a goal by Lauren Pfeiffer, her 4th of the tournament, and it gets Iowa on the board off of the penalty stroke. We talked about it yesterday afternoon at length. Both coaches felt that it was going to come down to something minimal, taking advantage of something minimal and really magnifying it, utilizing the corners and a penalty stroke here. So it's 1-0 Iowa.
Well, you know, it's very ironic because in the Ohio State-Penn State game, Linda Hausner was also awarded a stroke, and they were able to get up on the scoreboard, and that one goal is the difference of the game. It was a one-goal overtime game, but it's little mistakes, and even though Iowa hasn't been able to get into the circle all that often, once they're in, I mean, they got, like, you know, a little, you could say fluke call if you really want to call it that, but, you know, they had little opportunity in there to get up on the board, just as Ohio State did against Penn State.
Yeah, and you got to give Allie Tinnitus credit, though. She came out and took the player on, and unfortunately she got penalized for having her stick hit the other stick. But I like Allie Tinnitus in the way that she moved for that penalty stroke. She really went to the right side, and it was just a well-placed shot by Lauren Pfeiffer.
For Lauren Pfeiffer on the year, she has just been incredible with the way that she has been a scoring machine, especially here in this tournament, and that's what the seniors are supposed to do. Her 16th goal of the year and her 4th of this tournament.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if we see any sense of urgency from Ohio State to try to rush the play, because their pace so far has been very effective.
Well, you know, my coach always told us you are most vulnerable after you score a goal. You know, you might become a little relaxed. You're like, all right, guys, now we got a 1 goal. We're up 1 goal. Let's just, you know, keep it as we're doing it. You might get a little back on your heels, you know, and it's really important that you come out stronger after you score a goal.
Absolutely.
And we are going to have our first timeout of the half. As we go to break, Lauren Pfeiffer on a penalty stroke, giving the Hawkeyes the early lead.
Getting ready for Lauren Pfeiffer, and let's take a quick look at the goal and how this developed. And again, Iowa's passing precision has been exceptional, but the fact that the player riding along the end line here was really creating the opportunity for Allie Tinnitus to have to come out and commit. That's what created the stroke. Of course, Lauren Pfeiffer here drilling the stroke in the top left-hand corner. I'm telling you, even if you're 6'8", you're not getting that ball.
And Lauren Pfeiffer giving them the early lead at 1-0. And Allie Tinnitus, a player that has come in and really been exceptional down the stretch, and one of the reasons why Ohio State is in this championship game today.
Yeah, they made that change about 2/3 of the way through the season, and she's hot. I mean, it's like the old ice hockey adage: you got to go with the hot goalie in the playoffs.
Well, Coach Ann Wilkinson talked yesterday in practice. She said their loss against Michigan, their 3rd Big Ten loss, she said she took them into the tent and the team realized, we're like, wow, we're 0-3. And she goes, you know, those of you who want to stay with this team and compete for Big Ten championship, title championship, stay. For those of you who don't, leave. She said, thankfully nobody left. But she said every single person on the team, she's never seen like it before, hold themselves accountable. They're taking it on themselves to make the season for what it's worth, and look at the run that they've had. They've won every Big Ten game since that loss.
And a good job and a clear out by the defense, trying to help Allie Tinnitus. There are the Buckeyes. And really, if you think about it, aside from the stroke, Allie Tinnitus really hasn't been tested much here in the first 16 minutes of action.
And I'll tell you, and a goalkeeper, that's a tough first shot to have.
Absolutely.
A penalty stroke, my goodness.
Working off the off wing is Rachel Hunter. Trying to find herself inside, and Linda Hausner is with her. There'll be a hit coming into the circle. They'll get it over to Ashlyn Mcewen, again, who has had the 2 game-winning goals set up to get Ohio State to this point.
And Iowa being very, very focused and determined about their marking, making sure they can see the ball, the goal, the player. and doing a nice job of then getting the ball out of the field, out of the defensive end.
Well, I think they're also being very aware of where their outlet passes are once they come up with the ball, just like we saw there.
Hit in quickly by Hauser, but is not touched by anyone in the circle. No goal. Ann Wilkinson talked to us yesterday, and as Kara mentioned, the 0-3 start against Michigan State got them in the tent and said, you know, if you don't want to be a part of it, then get out. And no one left. As she mentioned, she said, thank goodness. She said, you know, I reiterate to them all the time that they are a great team. And she goes, I feel that they are. And that change has transcended in their final stretch here and finding themselves in the championship game this afternoon.
Ohio State fans really urging their players on, feeling like it's time in the match for them to tie it up.
Trying to move it to the circle and a corner call.
Wow.
That's,
I don't think I agree with that call.
I'm not sure I
either.
understand it. I'm not sure. I thought it was a clean tackle.
So the first corner opportunity of the afternoon. Can you guys pick it up here?
That's a clean tackle to me. It might have looked like it hit Jen Schule's foot. If we could take a closer look at that, I'm not sure. It might have looked as though the ball did touch her foot. But you saw these two opportunities that Iowa has had have come off these fast breaks.
Exactly.
And this is something that they've really worked on in their outletted passes and being ready to set up for that quick transition from all lines.
And I'm thinking what's happening here is that she's actually taking her stick and she swung it in versus laying it down on the turf. I'm thinking it was that kind of nuance.
That was all ball.
Sarah Perugine inserts it in quickly as they try to control the ball. Lauren Pfeiffer with a shot that's off and wide.
And that was not an easy dump pass to make because the ball was bouncing and Lauren still got a great shot off of it.
And Leah, as we saw yesterday on the turf when we were up by the circle, if you notice the white line is not paint. It's the actual turf, so there is kind of a bump right there at the top of the circle, which can cause an impedance to the ball path.
Yeah, an inverted area in that circle, and quick hit, and it was a whistle called and be a side in for the Hawkeyes as they try to continue on now with their pressure.
Yeah, Iowa really not giving Ohio State many options to get the ball out.
As the pile is there, and the whistle called for a free hit for the Buckeyes, and Jenna Cacciatore will look up for her teammates.
If you notice Iowa's defense, right behind this free hit, there's about 3 defenders in the backfield. You'll see when you open up to the defensive transfer. They have a lot of personnel behind the ball right now.
Trying to find spaces, just looking for opportunities because Iowa's doing a really nice job of taking down the passing lanes right now.
Katie Naughton relentless in trying to get back and help her teammates, and she is unable to. Jess Worley is there, is just trying to track down this ball. And Jess, number 13, Jess Worley of Iowa, and Allie Tinnitus of Ohio State were actually teammates at Madison back in Pennsylvania.
Great vision, looking up, just, again, the 3 of them working so well together. Sarah Perugine running her defender away from the play. A smart play there by Sarah.
Well, look how far Roz Ellis is up the field. She's a defender. She's a center defender, sometimes a sweeper. But look at her, she's inside the 25.
But look who's back covering for her, Lauren Pfeiffer.
The versatile pieces to the puzzle that Coach Tracy Grisbaum has. Caitlin McCurdy looking, kind of shaking her head a little bit. Ellis trying to break it up.
And speaking of good passing, we got the goal that came to score the goal against Michigan State. Beautiful cross pass. Opportunity there for the finish, and Caitlin McCurdy certainly did.
And at that point in the game, it was the goal that actually tied it up for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Of course, finishing it off, Katie Naughton and Lauren Pfeiffer with the goals. Pfeiffer's goal coming in overtime off of penalty corner on that 7-on-7.
And just a tremendous difference that I've seen in the Iowa team this year. If you can't get better on a season, that's pretty well established and for doing so well. But what I've seen is that the wealth of scoring has gone around to so many different players this year. Caitlin McCurdy has produced a lot this year. Assists, goals, shots. She's really stepped into her role on that forward line. But just the wealth. Caroline Blom pitching in. Katie Naughton pitching in. It's not all Lauren Pfeiffer like it was last year.
Absolutely. And I think they take great pride in that.
Jess Worley now with the ball, looking for her options.
You know, they watered the field a little bit earlier this morning, and I don't see as much water coming up as I saw earlier in the week, and it seems like the ball's playing a little faster.
Maybe an ice rink.
I was going to say, has the water frozen?
I have played on ice, though. I have played on ice in the NCAA tournament. The maintenance people watered the field at 7 a.m. on a November day. It froze the turf.
Oh, my
They had to delay
goodness.
the game until the sun came up enough to heat it up.
And do we want to say where the school was that did that? Was at a neutral site?
It was at Michigan.
It was at Michigan.
Oh, they grow them hardy in the Midwest.
Thank goodness for the East Coast hockey players that could come out and play on that.
Of course, today we're well above freezing. Well above.
But we are freezing because it's the gusty winds of 17 miles an hour that are coming out of the west here. And, it really doesn't affect the ball. The ball is a very hard ball. It doesn't affect the play like in a football game, folks. But it's 38 degrees out, a little chilly. We started earlier in the week. We had some balmier conditions.
It's a little bit like baseball in that, you know, those April games, you just feel for the players because you know it's going to sting when it hits.
Some nice stick work here in the middle of the field between Doak and Ashlyn Mcewen to retain the ball for the Buckeyes.
We'll show you some shots, man. Are these kids tough or what?
Carolyn Blum taking one, and she said, you know, once I realized I wasn't bleeding, it felt easier that I could get up. That's what she said yesterday.
I talked to her yesterday too, and she said her jaw did feel a little sore, but apparently she got hit in a good spot, if there's such a thing as getting hit in the face. But she got hit in a fairly unobtrusive spot where nothing was broken or no gums were split.
And our producer's telling us it runs in the family because Caroline's sister plays at Ball State.
Yeah, celebrated her birthday yesterday. Was born November 8th of 1985, and her sister came down from Ball State, and her mom is here, of course, and we just had a good time yesterday afternoon with the family.
Good opportunity here for Ohio State.
A nice save by Munley as she comes out to deny it. Good job, as Missy Palm was there right on the heels of her pads.
Missy Palm's movement off the ball right there was phenomenal. She created such havoc for Lissa Munley.
And how about Linda? How's fancy stick work here? Should get a corner and does.
Again, here comes the buildup from Ohio State. Just a really nice job of developing the play, looking up, looking for your options. Missy Palm will sneak in on the outside there. It's like she came out of nowhere.
And if you also notice, when they received the ball, the Ohio State forwards, they were already on the move. They were already in the move, which is really effective for them when you're trying to execute to the 25.
Absolutely, very key point.
Stop is made. Coyle with the hard shot.
Block by Beamsdorfer.
And the clear up to Caroline Blum.
Man, it was like it had a magnet.
Side in for Ohio State.
And I think Iowa's corner defense is absolutely spectacular. Megan Mcewen has such great speed in getting out there, but look, she has her stick on the turf the whole time, which makes her able to grab that ball. But Ohio State's corners, personally, I don't think have been very impressive that I've seen throughout the tournament, and especially against an Iowa defense. It's going to be all the more difficult for Ohio State to really capitalize on those opportunities.
They've got to find a way to eliminate Megan Beamsdorfer. If they can, then they've got the open space, but Megan's very effective doing that.
Ellis up to Worley, who is really working hard through three Ohio State defenders, and a held whistle gets her the call as Roz Ellis will now take the free hit.
Trisha Dean is saying, hey, I'm open here on the far side. Again, coming back, you'll see Megan Beamsdorfer right here. Look how low she's starting to get. And as the shot is taken, then she just blocks it right there with her stick. It's so effective when she does it because she dips her shoulder.
And in the meantime, some great hustle displayed by Ohio State in trying to track down the balls. Roz Ellis taking the hit now. Up to Dean.
Nice tip
Katie
by
Naughton,
Lindsay.
here comes Katie Naughton with her speed. We talked about the ineffectiveness when your feet are ahead of yourself. Or in my case, if your tongue is a little frozen.
That will be our challenge today.
Ball inside the circle. And a shot, and it's wide and long hit. We nearly had another stroke. Find more Big Ten field hockey stats at BigTenNetwork.com, the ultimate destination for all of your Big Ten field hockey statistics. And they have been an invaluable source, along with our own Ryan Kelly at the Big Ten Network, who has filled us with a bevy of information throughout the season, and we appreciate Ryan Kelly's assistance as well.
Absolutely.
As the
a lot of
internet.
trees. Absolutely.
He is our internet.
Lindsay Duffy now in the game for the Iowa Hawkeyes, also creating some opportunities on that weak side there, number 9.
And we've seen more and more over this course of the season of Lindsay Duffy getting in there and able to contribute on the forward line. They need the fresh legs. Amy Baxter, number 10, you'll see get up there in the front line as well. But Lindsay Duffy has been an excellent asset with getting in there on the forwards.
Karen, in a second, talk a little bit about what it's like as a player coming in off the bench when it's this cold.
I would just run around like a chicken with my head cut off just to warm up, to be honest.
Lauren Pfeiffer with the big hit up to Katie Newton. Oh, he slips on the turf but recovers.
Beautiful.
Her speed is always there, and a good job.
Looking for Lindsay Duffy. There she is.
And the defense recovers once again by Ohio State.
Again, here's the drilled shot, well received. Unfortunately, she slips, but she recovers right away. Delivers the ball over to Caitlin McNaughton.
Iowa covered 50 yards in a matter of 2 passes.
And so well received.
And we didn't see a lot of long hits that were successful in Friday's game Iowa had against Michigan State. But so far today, we've seen a bit more of the success rate with that long pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trisha Dean overran the ball, but it did work back in her favor as she will now take the side in and receives the ball, looking to get it through the crowd. Back into the circle, and boy, the Buckeyes are just packing it in every time Iowa is trying to get through that circle.
But here's their speed, and there we go. That's Emily Mickak. Holy cow. What an acceleration she made, but a great stop by Lissa Munley.
Her decision-making, you can tell that she's been playing for this Iowa defense for a very, very long time, but her decision-making and her thought process to go out and attack that ball is really crucial.
She's very comfortable back there. You can definitely see that.
Decent chances and control. Good job by McCurdy to get it up and control it. Katie Naughton here in semifinal game 2 with the goal.
Coming across the top of the circle, taking the shot, just drilled it. Beautiful, beautiful goal. One of the textbook goals you love to see.
And that made it 2-2 at that point. Trisha Dean picked up the assist on that one.
One of the things I love watching about Katie Naughton is if she loses the ball, if her teammates lose the ball, she's one of the hardest back tacklers I've ever seen play.
Lauren Pfeiffer looking for options, looking upfield.
Take a look at our past champions. Of course, right now, Penn State leads the crew with 4 championships, along with Michigan, their alma mater, and Iowa with 3. They have 2 in a row. And, of course, Ohio State with 1, Michigan State with 2. Going back in 2001, Ohio State defeating Iowa. The final in that game was 2-1, and that was held at Northwestern.
In 2001, that was the same year that Michigan went on to win the NCAA title. The first time a women's team had done that in Ann Arbor on the campus of the University of Michigan, which is a big testament to that athletic administration.
Mickak trying to get the call, and a nice held whistle as they're trying to allow it to develop, and a solid effort.
Wow.
By the
Jen
Buckeyes.
Shuley. Thank you, Jen
Are you Italian?
I'm not. Can you tell? Jen Shuley, tremendous effort here, reaching across the ball, getting a great chance for a shot. Unfortunately, just a bit wide.
Well, I think Ohio State's forwards, whenever they get into the circle, they're being very scrappy, and I think Karen catching the Iowa's defense a little off guard.
Yep, absolutely.
Side in for the Hawkeyes as we move under 2 minutes of play. And Caroline Blum taking one in the face again on a spin around. She got a little tied up with Ashlyn Coyle.
And one of the things that when we get a shot closer towards the Ohio State goalkeeper, you'll notice that Iowa's running Caitlin McCurdy and Katie McNaughton up and around behind their defenders again, spreading that defense out.
big ball hit in, and it was actually tipped. Jenna Cacciatore. And it goes over the end line. It'll be a 16-yard hit coming out.
And at this point, no team wants to go down either 2-0 or tied up 1-1. So there's going to be a little bit more of a conservative play. Iowa being very deliberate, looking for their openings, not taking anything too risky.
It's 30 minutes dedicated to the world of Big Ten women's athletics, the kind of coverage you just can't get anywhere else. That's the truth. The Big Ten Women's Show, Monday at 7:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
Looking to change it up, just lifting the ball, trying to gain some territory here.
Trisha Dean will politely wait for a little bit more time to tick off that clock, giving it back to Lauren Pfeiffer. Nice big ball by Pfeiffer, and that'll definitely take plenty of time off the clock as both teams try to track it down. It will be Ohio State's ball on the side in, but deep in their own territory.
And I love watching Caroline Blom in this situation. She's like the quarterback. She's directing everybody. I feel like she's Donovan McNabb back there, just pointing out left and right where everybody should be.
Ashlyn Coyle will take the free hit inside. Actually, she'll give away to Linda Hausner. Back to Hausner, who will just work some stick work and let the clock run out. So we've only had one goal. What's your analysis thus far of what we've seen in the first half?
I would say that Iowa's been opportunistic. They've had only a couple of opportunities, but they have taken full advantage of them. Ohio State has clearly dominated in terms of the statistical category, but hasn't been able to finish.
Lauren Pfeiffer with the lone goal here in the first half, making it a 1-0 game. It came off of a penalty stroke that was called when Allie Tinnitus came out trying to make a big save with her stick out pretty much about 7 feet away, right around that hash mark for the penalty stroke line.
Absolutely. And again, you know, that's a very international call that was made, and it was one of those things where he's saying, look, you have to play the ball. You cannot come out and just play the stick.
First half was really dominated by Ohio State on the corners, with 6 corners to just 1 for Iowa. So we are at halftime. Ohio State and Iowa, the Hawkeyes leading it 1-0.
And you guys outshot, outcornered. What is it going to take in the second half to get up on that board?
Well, I think we need to sustain an attack. You know, we're getting up there, we're creating opportunities, but it's very dangerous when we have a lot of people up in numbers, and you can see what a counterattack can do to you. You know, it was unfortunate, but I'm really happy with the way we're playing.
All right, thanks, Coach, and best of luck in the second half.
Thank you. Thanks.
Lee and Karen?
Thanks, Kara. Thanks, Ann. We appreciate it. What do you think of what Coach is trying to implement in the thought process with their players right now? Karen?
Well, I would agree. And I think they've just been unlucky in certain situations. They've had the numbers there. The players have been moving effectively around Lissa Munley. They just haven't had the opportunities.
Hawkeyes coming back onto the field. And how are the Hawkeyes feeling? I mean, they've gotten that goal, but quite honestly, they have not dominated 35 minutes of play thus far.
That's the crazy part about this sport of field hockey, is you can dominate a game and still lose. And this year, the only time they played, Ohio State beat Iowa in Iowa City. So Iowa is not going to be content to sit on this lead, but certainly they want to build on it.
Roz Ellis with the big ball up. Well, we will see. We are 35 minutes away from crowning either a new champion or a 3-time champion here at the Big Ten Tournament Championship. And of course, as Carol alluded to in the beginning, the fact that, you know, an Ohio State win really plays craziness with the top 20 of the
really
polls and the 16 selected for the NCAA tournament.
And for those of you that follow field hockey but aren't quite sure about how it's selected, it's not based on the national polls. It's based on the tournament winners in each of the 5 or 6 tournaments that send somebody to the championship, and then the remaining slots are at large.
Right, and that's going to be a really difficult decision based on the outcome of this game. Ashlyn Mcewen trying to advance inside the circle, and she runs out of real estate. It will be a 16-yard hit. Actually, it won't be a 16-yard hit. It will be a 16-yard hit as the umpiring crew gets on the same page. And as we mentioned prior to today's match, you know, it's just as much of an award for the officiating crew to be selected to do a championship game. You work all year long. You're viewed by your peers.
Yeah,
you're viewed by the coaches.
Absolutely, and gone are the days when the coaches used to select who would do the final games by the officials. They're actually predetermined prior to today's match. And Again, Ohio State looking to provide some pressure, some opportunities here. Is that Mcewen?
Hausner in traffic.
Hausner.
Linda Hausner in traffic and drawing the first corner of the second half.
And just a beautiful heads up here by Linda Hausner, bringing the ball into the circle, just creating opportunities, leaving Iowa defenders in the dust to draw the penalty corner.
Now here's something interesting. We have yet to see a corner. This will be our 7th. We have yet to see a corner go to Linda Hausner.
You're right. And part of it's because Iowa's defense has been so effective.
Well, I also think that...
And it's tipped, no, long hit. It's long hit.
And I also think it has something to do with they've done that corner all year long. It's either Hausner on the 1v1s or 1v3s, knowing how Linda Hausner plays, or she passes off to, or takes a direct shot. So the other teams, when recruiting those corners, they know the options. So this is a time of the season you have to change that.
Back to live action now as Hausner is looking up with an opportunity to get it into the circle. And it's quickly played back out. Caitlin McCurdy and Hausner tracking it down. Linda Hausner will take the side in.
Again, here's an opportunity for Ohio State. They drill the ball, but you'll notice the ball pops up outside the goal cage. No goal.
Side in on the opposite side, or excuse me, long hit on the opposite side of the field and quickly taken and up off a defensive stick, and that'll be a hit coming in just outside the circle.
Oh, missed.
Sweeping effort by Missy Pond.
That would have been a great shot, because she was looking to put that one high. You can tell by the body position.
Jenna Cacciatore looks to get it in quickly to Hausner.
I'd say the Buckeyes are starting off the way their coach talked about it. They just want to get the ball inside the circle and execute.
Perigine took it away. And nice recovery by the Buckeyes.
And also, when I was walking down along the field, behind the goal cage, you see the goalies, when they're not involved in the play, trying to keep their legs warm, keep their feet warm. They're doing little, jogging in place, that sort of thing. So that can also be a factor as you start to get later in the game. These goalies could start to become a little cold, not as, mentally aware or physically aware. So that can also be a factor as we see play out.
Yeah, it's a mental toughness kind of thing, because you might only see one more shot, but that could be the shot that makes a difference.
Caroline Blum hung up. And tracking it down is Jenna Cacciatore, and a big hit. And Blum is there to kind of deflect it off.
Caroline Blum, not afraid to throw her body into anything.
Something I've seen different with the Iowa team this game is that their second touch is a little too far off their stick. I think a lot of the times after they receive it, Ohio State is coming up with those 50-50 balls because Iowa isn't really taking care of the ball, which is very unlike their normal play.
Again, we've talked a little bit about Tracy Griesbaum and how important this game is for her team to advance into the NCAAs on a winning note. Again, numbers around the ball, as Kara talked about, the opportunity to change the place on the field so that the Hawkeyes can press up a little bit. Those of you that might know a little bit about field hockey know that many field hockey players come from the Philadelphia area, and Tracy Griesbaum is no exception. She's an unabashed Phillies fan, wearing her Chase Utley jersey regularly. And here's a picture of her at Citizens Bank Park this year.
That Philly shirt was red and gray.
It was blue, actually. That's the old style.
Old school.
Old style.
Old school.
That's right.
Old school back in the Mike Schmidt era.
That's
she said that she was one of the first girls in her area to play Little League ball. And she played several positions. Gary Maddox was her favorite player. She also played third base, and she did like Mike Schmidt. Long hit here by the Hawkeyes, as they will have their first solid pressure here of the second half. Just one corner by Iowa in the first half of action.
Trisha Dean trying to create some opportunities in there. Ohio State is paying attention to her.
And quickly converting the other way, Roz Ellis tracks it down.
Roz has been a little quiet today, but not because of anything that she's not doing. It's because Ohio State has not attacked down the left side of the field very often.
Trisha Dean gets in the middle, trying to get it across the field to Jess Worley.
Well, I think a lot of players we've seen today, Karen, have been rather quiet. I mean, Lauren Pfeiffer hasn't been as pronounced. Neither has Caroline Blum, number 20, on the midfield. But Roz Ellis, ooh, nutmeg right into the main.
I'm telling you what,
that's a soccer move.
That was Allen Iverson right there.
That's pretty sweet. And something also that's really interesting to notice, uncharacteristic of Iowa, Lauren Pfeiffer leads the conference 6.06 shots averaged per game. And Iowa has been very quiet on the offensive power that they usually produce.
Yeah, and I think it's because part of it is Ohio State's clogging it up. They're not allowing Iowa to develop anything in a short area. They're forcing them to do the long balls.
And I just think Iowa isn't taking care of the ball.
There's an opportunity. Not successful.
No, Sarah Perigine just couldn't get control of that big hard hit.
Again, if you did not know the score of this game and you watched the entire game, you would think that Ohio State would be leading at this point. And that's got to get a little bit more frustrating as the game goes on because they know how hard they've worked.
Big Ten Women's Soccer Championship game later today. One team will be crowned the Big Ten champion as the Women's Soccer Tournament continues to a conclusion. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. Eastern in HD, only on the Big Ten Network.
And also going back, Karen, if you're just joining and you're watching this game, you would think Ohio State was winning, but Ohio State knows that they can beat Iowa because they did earlier this season. That was part of their streak going into the Big Ten Tournament where they're on such a high momentum, really rolling with it, but they know that they can upset a high-ranked team and such high skill as Iowa. And also important to notice is that Iowa was outshot and outquartered by Michigan State in the semifinal.
Yeah, they were. That's absolutely right. Yet still came out ahead.
Meg Beamsdiffer trying to control it in the back as the Hawkeyes trying to get that ball back up the field, but a good job by the Buckeyes. Once again, just constantly recovering nicely as Caitlin McCurdy tips it up.
And I wonder if the Ohio State streak also has to do with the change in goalkeepers. Lindsay Quintiliani was at the starter for the last year and a half, and all of a sudden, Allie Tonitis comes in, and Ohio State starts winning.
And she's 6-0. As a goalkeeper, she's 6-0.
Yeah.
And we can add a little bit of rain here now. It's sprinkling just a little bit. A fine mist is coming down.
I'm looking for some snow any moment now, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be the Big Ten Tournament if we didn't go into overtime and there isn't snow.
That's exactly right. It's a requirement. Players are working hard. And here we'll take a look at Allie Tonitis, again, a freshman, but playing so well, so confidently right now, and her teammates have a lot of confidence in her.
I think something else that Ohio State is doing really well is as soon as they get the ball in their defensive end, they're outletting it very quickly. They're not giving Iowa a chance, as some of those forwards like to do, get really aggressive, as we've seen in number 7, Katie Naughton, not giving them an opportunity to steal the ball.
See the blowing rain just sticking to the camera lenses out here in Bloomington. We have had an extreme change in the weather pattern since we've gotten here on Thursday to start this tournament when it was about 75 degrees and sunny. So the weather continues to change and we continue to play on as we are looking to crown in the next 26 minutes, 25 and a half minutes, in Big Ten Tournament champion. Trisha Dean is broken up.
Nice double team by Ohio State, and as you saw, as Trisha Dean broke through one line, the other defender was right there.
Caitlin McCurdy trying to work that ball in traffic, and a good effort, nice hustle effort by Caitlin McCurdy.
Well, if we're looking for a momentum change, Caitlin McCurdy certainly has the opportunity to do that. And inside the circle, and Katie Naughton is another one of those sparkers on the forward line. But look how quickly they were able to get it inside the 25, and as soon as they got in the circle, rip a shot. That can just totally change the momentum of this game at this point if they're able to do that.
You talk about ripping. That would be a shot that would rip a goalie's hamstring in this weather.
McCurdy, that was the first goal of the game against Michigan State on Friday. She also tallied a score against Indiana on Thursday. Trisha Dean trying to work it across. And a loose ball in front of the net and a rebound, and not once, not twice, but turned away. And Allie Tonitis coming up strong, and it'll be a long hit. Good job and great effort by the Ohio State goalie.
One thing I want to talk about here is Allie Tonitis' position. She really had an opportunity where, look at the angle she's taking. She absolutely understands where her posts are. So critical in this.
Well, she also got her right hand touched on that ball. If you saw the ball touch the stick, barely, but she was so conscious of that space between herself and the post.
Yep. Hausner to Mikak, and it was a beautiful pass. Linda Hausner just waited one final second for Emily Mikak to continue to break up the field, and Emily never broke stride. There's Hausner in traffic.
Getting harassed.
And gets the call, so it'll be a free hit just inside the 25. As Jenna Cacciatore roll it up and in.
And as you're looking at the goal and you look at the Iowa defense setting up, you see how they're all low, they're all positioned, they're covering as many lanes as they possibly can. But the reason that gets set up is because of the communication. There's a lot of organizing going on back there right now.
Linda Hausner getting the call. Another free hit coming in that Cacciatore will take.
Ohio State again trying to get their sticks down and get the rebound, trying to get opportunities in on Lissa Munley and then picking up the rebounds and finishing. Of course, that's what led to their game-winning goal on Friday. That's why they're here today.
Nice flick and a scoop by nice feed. Great job feeding it inside the circle.
Lauren Pfeiffer, beautiful stop.
And a corner call.
Ohio State is doing such a great job of finding those little lanes that Iowa is not used to letting up. And they're really executing, finding those, and they're just going with it and being very, very scrappy in the circle. But such a tremendous feed and persistence by Ohio State.
And that's a corner because Lauren Pfeiffer ended up shielding the ball with her body, and there was pressure. So let's see if Ohio State can get something off around Megan Beamsdorfer right now.
Notice all the players located off the left.
So Manila with the stop. Hausner.
No opportunity to shoot.
Patient and gets the rebound and flicks it home. Linda Hausner with the goal.
Beautiful, beautiful adjustment to the play there by Linda Hausner. Really created something out of nothing.
And sometimes when corners don't go according to plan, that's when they actually are able to score on them. But Hausner just did such a great job of recollecting herself after she tries to pass at the initial time. And Iowa kind of backs off. Roz Ellis there with the diving effort. But look at the way that Hausner was able to get low. Very similar to the stroke that we saw actually against Penn State on Friday.
That's exactly right, and she's smart about it because she knows that over the goalie's top right shoulder, there's just not a lot of reaction to be able to react to the ball at that point.
20th goal of the year for Linda Hausner. Couldn't come at a better time. She is the first player in Buckeye history in over 5 years to go over that 50-point mark.
And again, the two players we talked about at the top of the show, Lauren Pfeiffer, Linda Hausner, end up being our goal scorers so far today. And Iowa, of course, counterattacking here. But here we are, flashback. Here we have Emily Mickak putting the ball on the goal right there and getting tacked. And that's what caused the penalty stroke. Hausner just drills it. She says, thank you very much. I'd like to put another point in my goal column. And she ties it up for Ohio State.
Yeah, made a 1-0 game. Penn State then scored. Janine Zug with the goal to tie it up. And, of course, Ashlyn Mcewen with that game winner. In the 71st minute of match.
She's just able to roof it so easily.
Roof it, I like that.
Yep. And that's a bit of prestige in field hockey. If you can roof it, you're doing pretty good.
Jenna Cacciatore looking to get it in deep. And as expected, both sides kind of revving it up just a little bit more as we move inside the 20-minute mark.
And if you notice there, Hausner did a really great job of playing off Iowa's second touch.
Yep.
Lauren Pfeiffer stopped the ball, but she never collected it and took care of it. And Hausner was able to come in and collect it.
And stole it right off her stick, basically. And again, a testament to these players. They've played in really, really hot conditions and really, really cold conditions, and it just doesn't seem to be affecting them. They're playing the game that they came to play today because the stakes are so high.
You see there, number 10, Amy Baxter, on Iowa's front line, able to come and get some playing time.
Jess Worley knotted up with Mcewen right there at just at the midfield, and the officials stopping it, giving a little double whistle, saying, hey, hey.
Iowa not giving up much, playing good low defense, blocking low, and then accelerating the ball out on transition. Jess Worley.
Worley tries to get it to the outside to Caroline Blum, and runs out of real estate.
Again, if you look at the three white shirts, you see how they just close down on Ohio State and then look up and get the ball out of there. Beautiful, beautiful teamwork.
But at the same time, the Roz Ellis passed it and it was intercepted. I mean, if you get the ball, take care of it. And you know what? If the fast break isn't on, slow it down, open it up, look for the defensive transfer, go down your strong side. The decision making right now, I'm not very impressed with.
Okay, Coach Lance, thanks very much.
Can I say denial? Do I miss playing?
Somebody wants to get a sick and go out and play.
Roz Ellis tries to get it up to the outside now. Caroline Blum with the ball. Missy Palm is there to meet her. Getting the call, and they'll reverse it over to Dean, and just a little bit too far ahead.
Good idea.
Tricia Dean.
Good idea. That's a good idea by Caroline Blum, trying to switch the fields. Iowa's really good at building from the backfield like we've always been talking about. They're able to transition that through the midfield. Good idea. They just need to follow up on it.
Cacciatore trying to get it up. Dean runs out of area, the side in. Linda Hausner will take it.
You know, and I'm wondering too if we're not seeing just the hands get a little bit colder, and then you're not feeling the ball in your hit as often as you would when it would be warmer, and if that doesn't affect you in some way in trying to hit the ball.
That'll affect you, and it's a dangerous hit automatically called because it is into a crowd and not into a space. High ball going up. For those folks that aren't familiar with this game, if the ball is up high and it's not into a crowded space, they will let them play on. But when it's dangerous like that, no, it's called right away.
This is exactly what Iowa needs to do. That's great decision-making by Roz Ellis. She opens up, finds Lauren Pfeiffer in the backfield, and look at the attacking nature of Pfeiffer and the fact that they're able to carry 30 yards in the span of one pass.
Actually, I would go 70 yards even further.
And we are going to have a timeout here in the second half of play as we are tied up with the goal. Quickly, the Hawkeyes and the Buckeyes. Linda Hausner with the goal. We're knotted up at 1. And as we alluded to in the open, the stars from both teams have definitely shined to this point.
Well, absolutely. They've taken opportunities when they've had them to finish. That's what you need your senior leadership to do.
Lauren Pfeiffer got things going off a penalty stroke in the first half, and in the second half, Linda Hausner with the goal.
Turnover here, key turnover. Wow.
Key turnover, and utilizing this timeout are the Hawkeyes immediately.
And I would say, Kara, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I would say Iowa's been more effective with their penalty corners.
Absolutely, and Lauren Pfeiffer, she's a senior and has racked up the points, but she thrives in these types of situations. This is what she lives for. She's probably one of the most competitive people I've ever played against, and from knowing girls on the team, she's one of the most competitive people on the team as well. But if you're talking about leading by example, this is a go-to situation for players like Lauren Pfeiffer.
And guess who's got set up for the hit right now?
Big hit.
Yep.
Pfeiffer with the shot and in.
No goal. No goal. Too high. And on a direct hit on a penalty corner in field hockey, that initial hit to goal, it must be 18 inches or lower. That ball went above the goalkeeper's hip, which meant it was too high.
And a good indication would be those boards on the back side of the net where you see IU, that is the 18-inch board.
Yeah, absolutely. And Iowa's, keeping the pressure up. They're smelling it now. They had a taste of having a goal there.
Yep, they definitely have the pressure knocking, but look at Ohio State's breakout right there. They're able to cover 50 yards in the span of 2 passes.
Okay, we have a situation again where the beautiful stop, beautiful hit, but the problem is the hit is too high. It must be 18 inches or lower on that initial shot on a penalty corner only.
And that helps the officials too. The shots just rocketing in so quickly that those ports really do help the officiating crew.
If you don't hear it, then you're wondering, was it too high? Now, a lot of players who are corner hitters have gotten experience hitting something called a banana ball, which goes up but then drops down. And that's a legal shot.
Like a banana kick?
Like a banana kick.
Bend it like Beckham?
Yeah, they bend it like Beckham.
Place it like Pfeiffer?
Almost. Hit it like Hausner.
And as we continue on, here come the Hawkeyes charging out, trying to get that ball up to Katie Naughton.
And you see Iowa doing a really nice job penetrating off that right side, which is something that they started to do at the beginning of the first half. Didn't as the half progressed on, but now they are definitely starting to reassert themselves on that side.
Perhaps that was a timeout adjustment. Hit
inside, a free hit for Ohio State.
You know, what's interesting is that one of the things I love about Big Ten field hockey is how active the benches are, and cheering and officiating and coaching and doing all the things that they do. They are quiet today. They're just trying to stay warm.
Free hit. Caroline Blum looking for her options as she hits it across to Lauren Pfeiffer.
Well, you know, looking at Iowa in the last 3 seasons, they've won 8 straight games in the Big Ten tournament. So they are tournament tested, tournament ready. But, you know, Ohio State wants nothing of it. And a little pushing and shoving going on. You know, again, some territorial things going here.
No, Trisha Dean was working awfully hard to get that ball into the circle. I thought she had an advantage there.
Yeah, I thought she did as well, Leah. And her first take when she was able to do that little spin move and beat a couple defenders with just a couple touches was absolutely tremendous. But you need to keep that going. You need to have your backfield follow you up behind that in case that ball is turned over, that you have minimal chance for the Ohio State to gain ground.
Again, a lot of quarterbacking going on from the deep Iowa defenders, pointing out, reminding their teammates where they need to be in the spaces.
Julie with a hit up, trying to find Mcewen. And it was tipped by a Hawkeye, so it'll be a side in. Jenna Cacciatore now with the side in hit.
Ohio State at this point has no numbers in the circle. Ashlyn Coyle taking advantage of that. She's our goal scorer from Friday.
And Hauser will take the hit now and quickly looks to get it in. Who it is? Ashlyn Mcewen with the reverse chip, and a wild one. There'll be a hit coming out for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, you can do that stroke to a certain degree, but you can't take it up and around and over your head and then try to hit it.
Well, Ashlyn Mcewen is almost 6 foot. I mean, she's a tall player. She needs a lot of setup.
Again, coming back to both goals today. The penalty stroke. Lauren Pfeiffer says, I know it's going in before it goes in. But then Linda Hausner responds with the rebound and the goal.
And you notice the excitement that Ohio State had after that goal. Linda Hausner hyping him up. They needed that. They were knocking, and finally they were able to break through the door, needing that momentum shift, which is really vital for the Buckeyes able to come back in the second half.
Absolutely.
Trisha Dean with a big hit in, but it's denied. Emily Mcewen now on the outside. Flying up on the wing.
We talked about this Friday. You're 12 and a half minutes left in the game. Who wants it more? Who is mentally tough right now to be able to just play through the conditions, the officials' calls going for you or against you? Who is really wanting this game more?
Trisha Dean to Roz Ellis as the defensive transfer that Karen have talked about quite a bit throughout the season.
And this is something that I really love to have to watch defense do. It's called the double transfer. If it goes to one side and it's not on, they transfer back around, and then you see it's given back to Roz Ellis and then distributed back out to the right. What that does is that it keeps the opposition moving, left to right, right to left, until you're finally able to see an open lane in some part of the field where you can execute that.
And again, you won't see that much in high school field hockey, many situations, because the field is not available and it's not smooth enough. But the double transition that Kara talked about is so important.
And Megan Beamsford did a nice job of opening up, where she opens up her right foot, sees upfield, it's not on, drops back, and Roz Ellis is back there. What's really key to that, and for being a defender, part of the defensive transfer, communication. Because once a player receives the ball, their head is somewhat down, they don't know what else is on. That deep defender is saying, we're up, we're open, back up, double transfers, that comes a lot from the defense.
And that's poise and maturity too, don't you think, as a field hockey player?
Yeah, it's knowledge of the game.
Yep.
And Tracy Grisbaum has always talked about the knowledge that these kids have about field hockey.
Right.
Well, we're in Bloomington, Indiana, site of the 2008 Big Ten Women's Field Hockey Championship game. Ohio State and Iowa. Leah Secondo, Kara Lentz, and Karen Weaver with you to bring you all the action. It's been a very tight game. It started off with a Lauren Pfeiffer penalty stroke goal to give Iowa the lead. Linda Hausner tying it up for Ohio State in the second half. And here we are at 1-1, 10:27 remaining in the game. What's at line and what's at stake? Well, not only the championship for the Big Ten, but an opportunity for an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Tournament starts next week.
And of course, somebody we haven't talked a lot about today, but she's in the game, is Amy Baxter. She has a way of creating a lot of trouble inside the circle, number 10.
Well, she's also a very aggressive forward. She's very similar to Lauren Pfeiffer in a sense that she really bodies up with people that she goes up against.
Iowa closing down Ohio State right here. Trisha Dean doing a nice job of stepping up, but then she turns the ball right back over.
Roz Ellis at midfield to Meg Beamstiffer.
Well, I think a big difference. Iowa's done a better job, I think, of possessing the ball the last few minutes we've seen them have.
And pressure inside. Caitlin McCurdy with a shot. Allie Tinnitus is there and a corner called.
You know, that, again, that play by Tinnitus is just a tremendous opportunity coming out as a goalkeeper, stepping up, anticipating the play, anticipating that Caitlin McCurdy was going to be open right there.
We talked about Amy Baxter being an aggressive forward, that you saw that she broke right through the line, kept going through the ball. They need that aggression on the forward line.
Yep, and what do you want to bet? Lauren Pfeiffer is going to play a role in this, even if she's not at the top of the circle.
Well, one of their favorite corners is to send it to her off the left side.
They worked a lot on redirects and tips. Let's see if they try it here.
Yep, there it is to Pfeiffer. Oh, there's the redirect, Roz Ellis. That's beautiful. Too bad it didn't work.
Nice execution, just maybe the blade of Roz Ellis' stick. If you notice, her stick was a little high. Sometimes you just need to lay that stick down. You don't need to put a lot of movement on the stick.
The face of the stick opened up a little bit too much. You want to tilt it down just a hair towards the ground. Both Caroline Blum and Lauren Pfeiffer spoke quite a bit yesterday at the size of Allie Tinnitus and the fact that you just can't go after. They go, man, she's probably one of the biggest goalies in the Big Ten.
Yeah, she plays big. I mean, not only is she big, but she plays big because she knows the center of her angles really well.
Ohio State did a really nice job there of getting an opportunity inside the 25, coming out of their defense like they've been doing so well so far this game.
Tracy Griesbaum officiating. Officials always need some help from the coaches. They're glad to have it.
Iowa substitution, number 22, Sarah Pershing returns.
Ohio State building up the ball now, looking for opportunities. Iowa again showing a lot of white shirts at the edge of that circle, not giving Ohio State a lot of opportunity.
Later today, be sure to tune in to the Big Ten Men's Singles Championship from Madison. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
This is tennis weather.
I can't think of Madison as tennis, you know.
I think they're playing indoors.
They all need to come down. I invite the Big Ten to come down to home of tennis and IMG Academy in Bradenton.
Again, there's the patience that Kara talked about. Iowa just being very deliberate right now with their ball, making sure they're not losing it.
But it's that second or third effort. It's taking care of the ball. I mean, they're in good positions most of the time.
When the Hauser trying to get it up, and this is the time where you need patience more so than any other time as far as letting the play kind of come to you. As Pfeiffer with the big hit down.
Nice play by Lauren Pfeiffer. Hits the ball deep off the sideline here, creating an opportunity for Iowa to put pressure in Ohio State deep in their zone.
Absolutely. Their field positioning, if you notice, that Katie Naughton and Sarah Pershing right there on the sideline, on the 25-yard line, so they can pressure that ball, but the field positioning able to cover 75 yards, puts them in their offensive end as compared to where they were previous.
You know, Mcewen has been the game-winning person for Ohio State the last two to advance Ohio State. And they talked about it. We talked about all of a sudden here we're down to 6 minutes to go in this game. We talked about that glaring moment and something that happens that can change things. A corner, a stroke. Those are two things that we're going to look at here.
Yep, and here we have Lauren Pfeiffer's game winner. Just drills it on the near side. It just says that corner is mine, and of course sending Iowa into the championship game. And I'll go on record. I said this earlier. I think it's going to come down to which goalkeeper makes the fewest number of mistakes in this situation. And you know, either one of them could do well here today. I mean, Allie Tinnitus is playing well above her freshman status. Lissa Munley, a senior, experienced with her defense right now. You would think that Lissa would have the advantage, but I don't know. Either one of them could go either way.
I think it's also playing smart in the circle. I think that's going to be a huge game changer, not causing a penalty that puts a stroke up, things of that nature that is really going to change the momentum and outcome of the game. But being smart inside your own circle, offensively and defensively.
Right. You may only get one more shot at a corner. Yeah, as we see Lauren Pfeiffer, you better make that one work.
That's a rare misstep by Roz Ellis right there. Rare misstep.
And that's the type of misstep that could hurt you. We'll see what happens here on the side end. Jenna Cacciatore waiting for her teammates. Big stops defensively here by the Hawkeyes.
And Ohio State doing a nice job of keeping the ball inside that corner and the diving effort by Emily McCack. But they know it's there. They know it's in the spot where they want to be. It's on their strong side. They have such well-skilled players on their force to get the call, get the free hit, and hopefully get a corner once they go inside their circle.
Cacciatore looking on the free hit here.
And Iowa taking away as many lanes as they can, trying to be as big as they can in those lanes, keeping their sticks low.
It's something that I've noticed about people over the free hits is their deception when taking the free hit.
Again, here's Iowa's strong defense, just not giving up that end line whatsoever. Good change of pace there. Iowa lifting the ball, getting it ahead to Amy Baxter.
And Baxter with the possibility of a one-on-one situation, trying to work inside, and nice job of working on Jen Shuley, and does get the corner call.
And I have to give credit to Jade Carvalho, the officials' positioning on that, because most officials used to come along the end line and they would have missed that. But Carvalho comes to the top of the circle above the stroke mark. She's in position then to see the foot call on that weak side.
I'm not sure I really saw a blatant foul there to cause a corner. Amy Baxter had the momentum in the possession in the circle as well, but Amy Baxter is also the type of forward that powers through, her forward line, so there could have been a little obstruction coming from her as well.
Absolutely.
Trisha Dean up top is the stopper.
Double stoppers on this play.
Defense, Jade Carvalho saying to the defense, please get back in.
Pfeiffer off the second stop. Nice block.
Pfeiffer will have a second opportunity.
Oh!
And Tinnitus did not see that ball as Caroline Blum was hanging there, waiting for the opportunity.
Caroline Blum certainly wanted that one back, but here's where they do a little deception. Pfeiffer takes the shot. The rebound comes again. Caroline Blum right there wants it back again if she could have it.
Well, you also noticed Trisha Dean, number 21, was the six-upper at the top, and then she went right at the stroke mark, looking for that little tip that we talked about with Tinnitus being such a big goalie, looking for any deflection around her.
And just go with one stopper up top and Trisha Dean now. That was a new look on that double.
Coming out to Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer on the short side.
Big save by Tinnitus with her teammate falling over her hands.
Same play that won in the overtime goal against Michigan State. That's the same exact play. It's been their go-to corner. Lauren Pfeiffer, like we said, thrived in those situations.
And a shot up in the air and played down nicely, and a good job by the Buckeyes and waiting for that ball to go down to the ground. Quick hit up. Pyle trying to get it up to Roz Ellis.
What Ohio State does not want to do right now is pack all 11 players in here and just play defense for the remaining 2 minutes. Iowa is too dangerous.
Well, Ohio State's also been really effective with the fast breaks because they have such speed on the forward line.
Right.
And that's really how you can penetrate through this Iowa defense, is that fast break.
And you can see Palms moving ahead, trying to move the Iowa defenders back a little bit to worry about her, using the lift to try to open it up.
Micak trying to control it down with a sea of white. Roz Ellis is there. And a free hit. Big hit by Jenna Cacciatore. Roz Ellis is there and quickly trying to move it on the transfer.
Beautiful movement right there by Iowa.
Baxter trying to get it up quickly to McCurdy, but she's met.
Well, I think also that's been a big difference for Iowa in comparison to Ohio State. Iowa looks a lot more well-conditioned at this point in the game. I think they've been moving the ball around a lot, and as we've seen about Iowa is that they're able to tire their opposing team by moving the ball so much, which could be an advantage, obviously, moving into overtime play if it stays tied.
That ball was not touched in the circle, thus the reason why Ali Tinnitus wisely just let it go in the net, makes it a 16-yard hit coming out. We are moving inside the final seconds of this game. If we go into overtime, we'll have a 5-minute break and then a 7-on-7, 15-minute sudden victory. We'll play it once. If we're still tied, we'll play it twice. Then we'll go to strokes. We have a hit coming in, though, inside the circle and plenty of time for the Hawkeyes.
And tight marking here by Ohio State, not wanting to give up any space whatsoever. Beautifully cleared, beautifully cleared.
Well, I think Iowa's also going to look to get a corner at this point because if time has expired, the corner will go on.
Big play, nice job by Emily Micak to break it up. Lauren Pfeiffer with a big shot and hit off a defensive stick. Played down by Pfeiffer once again, trying to keep it low inside the circle. It will not be.
Bree Doak coming up big there for Ohio State, just interrupting Iowa's momentum.
And you saw Linda Hausner right there with a lot of emotion going on the smart card. She goes, no, stop, let the clock wear down. Let's just go into overtime. Let's regroup. No need to try to bust the ball upfield and have an interception and have Iowa counter on it. So excellent game management by Linda Hausner right there.
We've gone 70, still no determination of a 2008 champion. We are going into overtime. Iowa, Ohio State tied at 1. Coming back for overtime after these messages. That's what they're playing for, the Big Ten Tournament Championship Trophy and an opportunity to have an automatic bid in the NCAA Tournament. Ohio State and Iowa tied at 1. Number 6, Ashlyn Coyle, the leader of this team for the last 2 victories, scoring the game winners. We went through a rough year last year with this group, and just winning this would mean so much to all of us.
Again, taking advantage of the numbers game. Ohio State had the numbers advantage on that penalty corner, and what does she do? She delivers the game-winning goal.
Something that's really been postseason play and tournament team play is all that there is a lot riding on the seniors, and sometimes that can be a little too much pressure put on the upperclassmen. I was a sophomore at Michigan. Our coach sat us down. She goes, it's going to be up to the underclassmen and the juniors because the seniors have a lot of pressure. And she said, it's up to you guys to take this team and support them, and you carry through it.
Right.
You know, and that can also be a factor. We talked about the seniors on this team, Linda Hausner, Lauren Pfeiffer, that thrive in these situations. But Ashlyn Mcewen is coming up huge at this later part in the season.
Absolutely, and that's the competitive maturity that a lot of these players have gained over the course of the season. Again, here's Lauren Pfeiffer's game winner. Again, drilling it on the near side. Just the goalkeeper had no chance. Teammates are thrilled that she's able to execute. And there's the competitor right there.
Well, and it's starting to rain just a little bit more. And when you're playing for the championship, you don't care if it's raining, snowing, misting, sleeting. You just want that opportunity to get back out on the field and continue on playing. As the players will be playing for that automatic bid, the trophy, we will have a 15-minute sudden victory. It's a 7-on-7, so the field becomes a lot larger, and those corners are ever so important.
Absolutely, and it's actually 6 plus a goalkeeper, so it's really 6 players from each team covering this 100 by 60 wide yard field. And it's one of those transition situations where the team with speed is going to have an advantage. But I think, Kara, in some situations, if the team gets it down into the offensive zone first, they may be able to draw a penalty corner with another advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the other thing is that Iowa's used to this situation. They weren't faced with an overtime game until late in the season against Michigan State. Able to win that, able to win the semifinal game. We talked about the seniors on the team and the knowledge that this team has, and this is where it really comes into play.
Here we go. And the final overtime, or the first overtime of the possibility of 2. Emily Micak gets it into play to Linda Hausner.
Eyes up, just dribbling under pressure, but our eyes are up the whole time.
And the rush is on.
Again, Ohio State taking that first opportunity to get the ball deep in Iowa's territory.
Corner called as it was touched on a foot. And it'll be hit out, just outside the circle, hit in.
And all 6 Iowa field players are in the circle at this moment in time. Nobody is upfield waiting for that transition pass.
Pressure inside the circle.
Coyle, oh, did she want that tip? She wanted it back so badly. She was running backdoor behind the goalkeeper, creating opportunities right there.
One of the things about Coyle that I really like about her play is her deception over the ball. You did not know where that ball was going. It looks almost like she was going to pass off the left-hand post, but it's a difficult skill to master, is to get that deception and convince your opponent that you're going one play, and then you pass another.
And then, of course, Ashlyn Coyle running behind the goalkeeper, looking for the tip right there.
And as this field becomes a little bit more saturated with water, the ball is going to slow down, and it showed it right on that play. You saw Caroline Blum just pick it up a notch and try to track that ball down.
And also something that's important to note here is after the second half, shots by period, Iowa outshot Ohio State 7-2 in their second half, and they out-cornered them 4-2. That goes to show their production late in the game. So they have a lot of momentum going into this overtime. They were able to really break up Ohio State's fast breaks, kind of get into their own groove that they're used to playing like.
Trisha Dean gets it back to Roz Ellis, back to Lauren Pfeiffer. And here comes Hausner.
Looking up, looking for her numbers. Nice ball, Emily McCack.
Nice ball to McCack as Roz Ellis is there. The shot and the save by Munley. And the clear.
Release of the pressure there by Trisha Dean. Boy, that was a great shot by Emily McCack.
Just the speed on the forward line by Hauser, beating 2 defenders. And look at this lead pass. And Emily McCack is able to get the ball on the run, unattended. That's been so effective for the Ohio State on their fast breaks, is that they're on the move as they receive the ball.
Absolutely, that was a beautiful pass by Hauser.
Roz Ellis make a quick adjustment to her cleats.
And that's also by design. In overtime, coaches teach you if you're out of breath and you're really, you feel kind of back on your heels or you need to take a moment, untie your shoe and tie it again. You see it in tennis matches a lot. It's a strategy place.
And of course in soccer, when a player goes down too, there's a lot of resting, while the player gets back up.
Ball to Pfeiffer. She's got Katie Naughton on the outside, but the defense for the Buckeyes once again.
Number 10, Jen Shuley, doing a tremendous job with her defensive composure back there. This is a freshman that's playing in an overtime game in the Big Ten tournament finals.
Yeah, and McCack now out on the wing. She's got Shuley and Mcewen at the top of the circle.
And Shuley just creating space for herself, doing a really nice job of forcing Megan Beamsdorfer away from the ball.
And there was a lot of discontent with Trisha Dean on that call by Jade, the umpire inside the circle, because she did purposely lift it in to Emily McCack. That is why it is an Ohio State ball.
Jen Shuley to Hausner.
Caroline Blanc making a run in towards the top of the circle, and no one's picking her up.
Good coming out for the Hawkeyes.
And I think we've also noticed within the first few minutes, there hasn't been a lot of passing combos. It's mostly coming off of these 1 or 2 give and goes type breaks that's really been allowing the opportunities for either team.
Looking up, and guess who's playing forward again? Caroline Blanc. She played forward in the overtime game on Friday as well.
Trying to work on Coyle here, and she does. A little hot ball over the stick. Rachel Hunter is there to meet her.
What a great jab by Rachel Hunter. So effective with those jab tackles. You never know when they're coming. As long as you pepper somebody that's really good with their ball possession, can be really disruptive.
Katie Naughton is on the far post. Lauren Pfeiffer and Linda Hausner up top of the circle. Beamsdorfer. Nice stick work.
Excellent defense. Excellent. Well earned. Rachel Hunter again.
Defense and really good persistence and composure and staying through the play. If you don't get the initial call, keep going at it, keep going at it, keep going at it.
Got a substitution. Jess Worley wanting to come in for Katie Naughton. We have a timeout, though, on the field as Iowa and Ohio State playing for the Big Ten Tournament Championship, an automatic bid into the NCAAs. The tournament pairings will be announced on Tuesday. First round starts next weekend. And before you know it, the Final Four in Louisville this year.
And I will say this, a lot of the other schools around the country who want at-large bids do not want to see Ohio State win this match, because they know that that's going to force Iowa into an at-large situation, knocking someone out of the tournament. So again, that's every reason for Ohio State to want to win this, because they are guaranteed to be playing next Thursday or Friday.
And Penn State will probably qualify, I think, for the NCAA tournament. I think Michigan State, again, is going to be that team on the bubble. The Big Ten was able to qualify 4 teams for the NCAA tournament last year, which I think is tremendous on account of the conference and the league. But I think Michigan State will be that bubble team, although they've had some fantastic streaks, and they've lost to they lost to Syracuse and Wake. But those are teams they outshot and outcornered and outplayed. They know they can compete for the national title.
And nobody likes to play against them. That's the craziest thing. You talk to these coaches like, no, we don't want to play them. They're like tactically crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, Ohio State might be in a position of knocking Michigan State out of the tournament. We just don't know if they're able to win here.
Coach Grisbaum, of course, plenty of years experience with USA field hockey, and some of these players told us yesterday there wasn't a doubt in their mind when they were looking at colleges to go to that they wanted to put themselves in a great opportunity to possibly be involved with USA field hockey someday, and thus the selection to go to Iowa. Of course, the team right around the TV set last night at 6:30 as the Hawkeyes upset Penn State. Great football game.
That's why you play the game.
They said they asked for permission to get up from the table and watch the final minute.
And as going to a university such as Michigan that has such an outstanding football program, or Not until this year.
Most years.
But you really roll on how well your bigger sport teams do, like football and basketball, can give you a lot of momentum.
Caroline Blum with the ball to Worley. Up to Trisha Dean. Trying to get it across, and a good job by the Buckeyes.
Good clear, good territorial ball right there. Just dumping the ball down, taking the pressure off, and now Ohio State's all the way down deep inside their offensive zone. Players, fans trying to urge each other on here, looking for that opportunity. Blom's got one to beat.
Nice little spin move inside the circle, and Coyle is there to be a long hit.
And when Ohio State was able to get the ball right before Iowa just penetrated through the 25, no Ohio State forwards were able to keep the ball inside their offense.
Great move by Caroline Blom there to take what the defender gave her.
Blum with the ball. They've got Worley near the top of the circle, and Beamstaffer right working towards that far post with Ashlyn Mcewen.
And in this situation, Caroline is really good at either finding the hit through the circle or taking the ball herself, getting on 1v1 situations and drawing a corner.
Linda Hausner breaks it up. And why not? She's been doing it all year. Emily Mickett.
Speed.
She's got Rachel Hunter. Can't get the ball to her. Roz Ellis is there.
Oh, man.
Beamstaffer to Caroline Blum. She's got Worley. And caught up in sticks. Nice help whistle. Look at this.
Oh, look at the freshman. Look at the freshman.
Just Worley is knotted up. A little too much time on the rebound. Ellie Tinnitus comes up big.
Her presence of mind there was unbelievable. She knew she could not lay on top of the ball and cover it. Caroline Blom bringing the ball down, creating an opportunity, but if the goalkeeper covers the ball and takes it out of play for 1 second, she knew it would be a penalty stroke. And generally, good poise.
Definitely good poise, but Jess Worley kind of had her beat. If she had taken a quick one touch, or when she pulled the back up, instead of doing what we call a pop, whereas that you kind of tap the ball so it pops up in the air, pulling it back one more time and getting a lift, like we saw Linda Hausner do on the corner.
Yep, absolutely.
Worley, Pfeiffer, Dean, and Roz Ellis at the top of the circle. Dean will be the stop. Caroline Blum will insert it in.
Oh, not a good stop.
Ellis trying to control it, looking for the tip, and it's wide.
And if you notice, Jess Worley and Caroline Blum on that play weren't behind the defense. They were right there, just sitting on that post. And as a freshman goalie, that comes down to you to tell people you have people behind you, like, you know, you got two, turn your head. Realize who you have, because those forwards are left unattended. You don't want that.
Not in this situation when you're down a player already on the defensive corner.
Caroline Blum trying to get the corner called, and a nice job to get the corner called, drawing it with just some nifty moves.
I don't think the bench is very happy with that. Right now, if you see the reaction, oh, they thought they had the goal, and of course they got the penalty corner, which could be the next best option. But what do you want to bet? It's going to be Lauren Pfeiffer somewhere around this ball.
Well, like Tracy Gerspawn said, it comes down to the details, and that comes down with the corners as well.
Bring Roz Ellis over by the stopper, Trish Dean. Worley and Pfeiffer out on the wings. The defense a little bit too quick out. Change it up again.
The defenders are down to 3 plus a goalkeeper instead of 4 plus a goalkeeper, which puts the defense on a little bit extra pressure. And as I said on Friday, I'm not sure how often teams practice this particular setup defensively.
Directly to Pfeiffer, and the shot, and it's in! It's in! Iowa comes back to win this game, their 3rd consecutive championship.
And that's the same play that they won in overtime against Michigan State. Pfeiffer setting up off the left side, that quick insert to her at the top of the circle, and she has such great ability to receive it, get it inside the circle, and fire from the top. It's almost unstoppable most of the time.
It really is. She picked that corner out, and she probably had it within 6 inches. Beautiful, beautiful shot by Lauren Pfeiffer.
3rd consecutive championship in tournament play for the Iowa Buckeyes, or excuse me, Iowa Hawkeyes. And they are a happy bunch of Hawkeyes right now. Lauren Pfeiffer with 2 goals, and it couldn't come at a better time.
Lauren Pfeiffer, again, we talked about it throughout the game. Wherever the ball is, she seems to be in those offensive sets. And it's because she's a competitor. She wants to put the team on her shoulders and just carry them into the final game.
Just like I said, she's so able to absorb that ball, get the receive, and then like I said, it doesn't have to be stopped if it's on the outside of the circle. She always has the ball on the move and gets a nice lift on it. That's exactly what she was looking for in a previous corner.
Happy Hawkeyes, they knew it right away. They put it in the hands of their captain, their senior, and she came through for them.
And again, I think she'd be the first to tell you that corner piece is an entire team effort, but they kept wearing down Ohio State. At some point, you're going to get a good opportunity like that.
And you know, it's an overtime victory. It's a Big Ten tournament title, final game. You know, a lot going on that, but also Ohio State beat Iowa in the regular season. And the revenge feels all the more sweet when you're looking to beat these guys. You want to face them in the Big Ten tournament. I'm sure Iowa has been wanting to play Penn State and Ohio State in postseason play so that they can prove that they can beat those teams that upset them earlier in the season.
And conversely, if you're Ohio State, it's the end of the Cinderella run here, if you will. They really believed that they had an opportunity to win this, and they certainly put pressure on Iowa's defense. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Ashlyn Coyle, because she really had a tremendous overtime period for a freshman.
Great respect too as well between these two squads as they meet now at the field to shake hands as the Hawkeyes have their hats and their garb because they are headed to the NCAA tournament. That automatic bid, Lauren Pfeiffer with the game winner as Iowa moves on.